how do you really know if one thing is better than another? I mean, truly better? It's one of the most fundamental questions in all of science, and today we're going to open up the statistical toolkit to find the answer. Let's jump right in.
You see headlines like this all the time, right? A new drug is a breakthrough, a new therapy works wonders. But behind every single one of those claims is a critical question. Like, how does a scientist know for sure that a new drug actually works better than a simple sugar pill?
Well, the answer isn't a gut feeling or a lucky guess. It's found in a powerful set of statistical tools, each one carefully designed to cut through all the random noise and find a real, meaningful signal. Today, we're diving into the 3 most essential tools in that kit.
Okay, so first things first, let's just frame the problem. Because this isn't just about medicine. Comparing groups is a totally universal challenge. It's everywhere, from psychology to engineering to marketing.
Here's the fundamental challenge, the game you're playing. Your goal is to find a real, true difference between your groups. But your enemy? It's just random chance. Sometimes groups can look different just by sheer coincidence. These statistical tests are how we figure out if what we're seeing is a genuine effect or if it's just statistical static.
So let's open that toolkit, and the first tool we're pulling out is ANOVA. You can think of it as the classic high-precision table saw in a workshop. It's powerful, it's accurate, and it's been the go-to for countless standard jobs for decades.
So what does ANOVA actually do? It stands for Analysis of Variance, and its job is pretty straightforward. It compares the averages, or the means, of several different groups all at once. Then, it tells you if the differences you see between those averages are big enough to be real, or if they could have just happened by chance.
But, and this is a big but, just like a precision tool, ANOVA has some really strict operating conditions. It has rules. First, your data needs to follow that classic bell curve shape. Second, each data point has to be independent of the others. And third, this one's super important, all the groups you're comparing have to have a similar spread or variance.
So, what happens when things aren't perfect? Because let's be real, data from the real world is almost never perfect. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and this is where things can start to go wrong. Right. What happens when your data just refuses to play by ANOVA's rules? Well, if you use the wrong tool for the job, you can end up with some seriously misleading, even flat-out wrong conclusions.
And the dangers here are very real, and they go in 2 different directions. If your groups have unequal spreads, you risk what's called a type 1 error. That's a false positive. You might shout to the world that you found something amazing, when there's actually nothing there. On the flip side, if your data isn't bell-shaped, your test loses its power, and that means you might miss a real difference that actually exists.
And this is why we have our other tools. If ANOVA is that precision saw, think of Welch's ANOVA as an adjustable saw that's built for slightly uneven materials. And the Kruskal Wallis test, that's like your rugged, all-terrain handsaw for when the data is really wild and won't cooperate at all. Okay, this table right here, this is basically the whole decision-making process in a nutshell. Look, if your data is clean, it's bell-shaped, and the variances are equal, ANOVA is your most powerful option. Go for it. But the second those variances get unequal, you need to switch to Welch's ANOVA to protect yourself from that false positive error. And what if your data isn't bell-shaped at all? Well, that's when you bring out Kruskal Wallis. It's a nonparametric test, which is just a fancy way of saying it doesn't care about the shape of your data. The only catch? It's a little less powerful than ANOVA if your data was perfect to begin with.
But you know what? The story doesn't even stop there. The world of data is getting way more complex, and so are the tools we use to analyze it. Let's take a quick peek at the modern frontier of these tests.
Yeah, the toolkit is always getting bigger and better. You've got methods like Bootstrap and Bayesian ANOVA that give you incredible flexibility with messy data. There are even super specialized tools like wavelet ANOVA, built for mind-bendingly complex data like brain scans. And maybe the coolest thing of all? New adaptive algorithms that can actually look at your data and automatically pick the best test for you. Wild, right?
Okay, I know that was a ton of information. So let's bring it all back home and boil it down into a simple, practical guide. Think of this next part as your decision-making cheat sheet.
This is the crucial takeaway. Before you do anything else, you have to play detective with your data. Step 1. Does it look like a bell curve? Yes or no? Step 2. Are the spreads, the variances, roughly the same? Yes or no? Once you have those 2 answers, the choice becomes crystal clear. If it's yes and yes, you use classic ANOVA. If it's yes to normal but no to equal variances, Welch's ANOVA is your safe bet. And if the answer to the very first question was no, it's not normal, you go straight to Kruskal Wallis. Simple as that. So, at the end of the day, why does any of this matter so much? Because it's about doing good, honest, trustworthy science. The principles are simple. Always, always, always check your data's assumptions first. Don't be afraid to use these robust alternatives when you need to. And maybe most importantly, tell people why you chose the test you did. That transparency is what makes science credible. It's what makes it work.
So let's end with this thought. We've seen the classic tools and their modern replacements. But as data from things like genomics, AI, and neuroscience gets even bigger and way more complex, what do you think the next generation of classic tests will be? What's going to be the go-to tool in the researcher's toolkit 10 or 20 years from now? That's the exciting frontier we're looking at.